speaking of heating up, and the Premier League title race as well as the top four is the race is really heating up, and you can see with Newcastle dropping points, United dropping points as well, like Liverpool winning. The top four race is also very interesting. Let's go by each match. Mayur, take us through what happened this.
Yes, the first game, Bournemouth Chelsea. So it's surprising result, even though a lot of teams thought it would be a game for Bournemouth to win. But again, there was a meme going around 007 for Lampard. Thankfully, he avoided it and he won his first game as a manager of Chelsea. So interesting game. Chelsea, as usual, didn't weren't at their best, but they scored their goals when there were opportunities. And Bournemouth, as usual as well, they were decent enough and gave a good fight. It wasn't a one-sided game or anything
Yeah.
like that. Moving on to the next game, Man City leads. So we saw it being Sam Allardyce's first game, and in the first half, City were quite dominating, and they were making chances and were able to get into good positions, and they scored their goals as well. But in the second half, Leeds came back. They had quite a few opportunities, but just they weren't able to convert it, or else it would have been easily a draw. So that was the other game. Apart from that, host, you saw this Spurs Palace game. Probably a lot of people thought it would go the other way, judging by the form.
Yeah, so Crystal Palace were in fine form, and no surprises for who scored for Spurs again. Harry Kane, he turns up every single game for them, and if it was not for him, I don't think they would be anywhere close to the top five. And Crystal Palace, as usual, they do have a couple of great players in their ranks who can win the game. Also, moving to the Liverpool match, Liverpool versus Bournemouth, I thought Brentford gave Liverpool a good fight, but eventually the Salah goal was a difference between them. And Brentford also could have scored. They looked threatening a lot of times. Van Dijk and company couldn't, didn't have a great game though. And also in the Newcastle Arsenal match was the match of the week, probably at least in the top six. This was the match of the week with Arsenal absolutely rattled initially by the pace at which Newcastle started the game, and the atmosphere at St James's Park was something to behold. And finally, they turned it around with Odegaard pulling the strings in midfield and also scoring for them. This is his second brace, back-to-back brace, I think, in the Premier League, and he held the game by the scruff of the neck and won Arsenal the game. Other than that, Arsenal didn't look that good in the sense Martinelli and Saka couldn't find much joy down the wings because Newcastle defended well, and yeah, and also the West Ham United match, a blender from De Gea costed United the match, and we are struggling at the moment with back-to-back losses away from home. And yeah, so other than that, all the other games were like absolutely like unpredictable scores. Fulham versus
21 goals.
Leicester
Yes.
City 5-3, 21 goals in the three games that happened at on Monday. Yeah, so crazy, crazy. Premier League at its best when Nottingham Forest and Southampton end in 4-3.
So just before we move on to the other league, the current relegation battle is Southampton almost look like they will be relegated. A
Yep.
lot of their players were crying at the end of this game as well. A crucial game against Nottingham Forest where they could have got points and would have been crucial, but Nottingham Forest. Gibbs White was very good in this game, and the assist which he gave, if you haven't seen, just have a look at that assist, the way he touched the ball before scoring. Yes, and apart from that, the Brighton game again, Everton coming out of nowhere. Brighton, who are team in form, they were looked like a easy game for them, but Everton scored on those counters and perfectly came for this game perfectly prepared and as per their plans and scored.
Executed it very well, and Brighton were second best in all departments.
Yes. Apart from that, now Leicester losing this means Leicester is in the 18th position with 30 points along with Leeds. And now Everton and Nottingham Forest. Everton are at 32 points and Nottingham is at 33 points. So, what do you think now? The quality of Leicester players we have seen, they should nowhere be near the relegation zone, but here they are. Do you think can they overturn it?
For me, because Everton are also playing really well. Because even the last game, I think Leicester versus Everton, which was a cracking game, I think it was 2-2. I think it's tough to pick. Southampton definitely are going down. It's going to one of these two are going to go down. I feel definitely. So
Yes, probably Leeds as well. We are considering Leeds and Southampton going down. So the other two teams are Leicester and Everton at the moment. Apart from that, if Nottingham Forest out of nowhere start losing a few games
losing,
the
yeah.
next. Yes. So apart
But
from that,
yeah,
yeah. Yes.
yeah. But for Everton, I feel they are such a poorly run club, and I wouldn't want Leicester to be relegated. Uh, Everton, because of continuous mismanagement, that is how they find themselves in this situation. And I wouldn't mind Everton getting relegated, but I don't think they will, because they are playing really well, and Sean Dyche has kind of turned the mood in the camp. And if I take a bet right now, I would bank on Leicester to get relegated. Sadly,
Whichever teams get relegated, they have a lot of good players, and the other
yeah,
teams would definitely be looking at those
yeah,
players. We have seen James Ward-Prowse. Apart from that, Kyle Walker-Peters and few Bella Kocha from Southampton. So apart from that, Everton, Leicester have some great names. So it's interesting to see who ends up getting related and relegated and where those players end up in the next season. So apart from that, we'll talk about United and Arsenal, United and Liverpool in a later part of the podcast and the top four battle. So for now, let's move on